Nearly there. Will you be glad to see this game over?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's. How would you explain? I would say it's like I'm like extracting teeth at the minute.
It's not painful, is it?
Well, I just don't like. I don't like football when there's nothing at stake. If I'm honest, you know, either one end or the other. I can get me my head round, but making the numbers up, I can't. You know, I don't ask my lads. You know, I ask my lads to make sure we perform, and they have done. If I'm honest, and we've got one more game to do. It'll be quite interesting. You know, there'll be one or two lads that I'm going to give a game to that probably haven't been involved as much of late. So it'd be interesting for me. You know, I want to try and still have a look at things if I can.
Will there be players playing on Sunday who we won't be seeing in the Cardiff City shirt next season?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I mean I'm not 100% sure, but you never know who's going to be in a Cardiff City shirt next season, really. Till we know who can come in and then who's leaving.
Are you further down the road on your plans? I think you were meeting Mehmet, weren't you, this week?
Yeah, I met Mehmet and Ken, and I'm going to fly out to see Vincent towards the end of May, which will be good to have. You know, it's my request really. You know, it's okay on the telephone, but I think when it's when you want to talk about numerous things regarding the club, I think you've got to sit down face to face really. So Ken's going to come out with me, and we're going to have, you know, probably a good day there, you know, travelling day back and day forward, but you know, get a meeting anyhow, and I think that'll clarify a lot of things really.
Are you you say you're going to see Vincent Tan, he has the final say on all this, of course, because he frankly,
yeah, of course he does, yeah, he owns it.
Yeah. But at the end of May, is that losing valuable time, or are you? Well,
we can't do it before then, really. I've got so many things on before then, and it's fitting the timing out. I want Ken to come with me if I can, because he obviously can speak the language as well. If we have to go into great depths about certain things, so the only time Ken could really get off was that end of the month, because he's so busy as well. So it's really a matter of fitting it in with him where we can go together, you know.
And is it just dotting the I's, crossing the T's now?
No, not really. I mean, it is something like that, but you know, there's certain situations where I want to speak to him about, and you can't do that on the telephone, not when you're hard of hearing like me.
There's a long way to Malaysia, even on the phone. How are you looking with well, let's talk about Manga first. Appears to be a bit of movement there.
Well, we spoke. I think he's gone away now, and I mean they play. I think it's the 11th of June, their competitive fixture. So I've arranged with Bruno to come and see me fly back over here on the 13th, and you know, I'll be discussing him when I go across to see Vincent, and talking to his agent in the meantime, as I'm doing, you know, most of the players.
But the fact that there are still discussions, I mean, I think it's fair to say a few months ago you were almost resigned that he was going.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's enjoying playing for me, if I'm honest. You know, but the circumstances, it couldn't be obviously the same as before. But you know, I look at him and I think since I've been here, I think he's played very well, and it would be nice to. I think we've got the best three centre halves in the division, mate, if I'm honest. And you're going to need three good ones next year as well. And you supplement that with the likes of Connolly, who's, you know, I trust totally in Connolly, me, wherever I play him. So, you know, that's what we're going to need. When you look at your Brightons of this world, they're pretty steady in that position. You know, your Duffys and Dunks, and, you know, they've got backup when they get the odd injury. You know, it's a vital position, that.
Always ask, what about Whittingham?
Yeah. Well, nothing. You know, we've had a good chat, Peter and I, and I think we've both laid the cards. I think Peter's, you know, he's got to see what happens. You know, what develops for him as well. There might be clubs coming out, you know, that that can offer him more lucrative contract, or even more of an opportunity to play more regularly, probably. So I think he's in a situation where he has to weigh up all his you know, one side or the other really before he can commit himself. He knows what I'm thinking and where I want to go, and I'm sure, you know, in the next few weeks, I don't think he'll leave it too long before he makes a decision, but I think we've just got to wait and give him an opportunity to see what is around there.
Have you said you want him to stay if possible?
Yes, of course I've offered Peter a contract. It's you know, it's not like his last contract, so he has to weigh everything up really. It's, you know, I know he's loyal to the club, but he has to weigh all sorts of things up, and there might be another opportunity for him to have, you know, a couple of years at another challenge. You just don't know in football. So I think he's going to have a look at what there is, talk to his advisor, and you know, and we'll come to some decision. I would imagine we'll know what each other's doing by the time I come back from Malaysia.
Yeah. And with Kadeem Harris and Junior Hoyler, they're almost done and dusted.
Yeah. I think they'll both be definitely here next year. I don't think they've signed anything yet, but I think, you know, I expect them both to be here.
You said about you were hoping to put in one or two who haven't featured recently. What sort of side do you think Huddersfield are going to play?
You don't know, do you? I mean, it's. I think I'd want to lose if I were them. I wouldn't want to get Reading. Not Reading, Fulham. So, you know, you just don't know. There'll be players now wanting a game, really. If they didn't play last week, there'll be one or two wanting a game before the playoffs. You know, as a player, you don't like not playing for 2 or 3 weeks when there's big games coming up. So I think they'll be a pretty strong team, mate. I think they'll want to beat us as well, the last home match. You know, go out with a bang sort of thing, and that's why I'm looking forward to it in that respect.
But, you know, they're being sort of looked at, the team they fielded last week. Of course, 2007, I think it was, you were on the other end of that, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I can understand where David's coming from, you know, resting his play. He obviously he's never seen it from the other side. I think that's the difficulty, you know. He doesn't realise the hurt that it causes, and, you know, like, it's still poisonous at the back of my mind when I look at the Fulham's team sheet, when I look at the Liverpool's team sheet at Fulham, and didn't recognise anybody, you know. When Sir Alex handed that team sheet in with no Scholes, no Giggs, no Ferdinand, no Rooney, you know, it was even before the kick-off, it was a deflating team sheet that we saw in our dressing room. And I know, like David says, teams at the bottom of the league should have done better throughout the season, but they all played Huddersfield with a good side, with a full team, and I think it's difficult when you're on David's side to understand the hurt that it's causes, really.
So should they be punished, or do you think that's...
No, I don't think so. You've got a squad. They're all in the first team squad, aren't they? I think you should be able to pick who you want. I just think it's, you know, when you've experienced it from my side of the coin, you know what a bitter taste it is. But from his point of view, if they're all first team pros, well, you know, then why shouldn't you pick that team? I don't see why you should get fined, if I'm honest.
It says something that you're still burns inside.
Absolutely, yeah. All this time, yeah. Bitterness, yeah, very much so. Probably take it to the grave with me. We got 38 points that year and got relegated in the Premier League. I don't think anybody will get relegated with 38 points this year. So, you know, we did really well. So to miss out on 2 games because of 2 weakened teams in the same fortnight was an absolute, you know. I don't think we deserve to have that done against us. So I would imagine if I was at Forest or Blackburn or Birmingham, well, not Birmingham, I think they'd be delighted. But I think the other two, I would feel a little bit bitter about it, yeah.
And when you talk about players that haven't featured, like, are you looking at maybe Brian Murphy playing rather than McGregor?
Oh, I might make 10 changes. You never know, do you? You'll have to wait and see.
Never know with you, no.
You don't know.
And McGregor obviously going back. How would you sum up what he's done?
I think he's done well, yeah. I mean, he started the first couple of games, I was disappointed. I thought we should have got results at Brighton and Reading, I think it was. with the goals. But I think he's just got blended into the lads. He's been a really good lad off the field as well, and fitted in, and you know, he's made it quite clear he's loved his time here. Give him a new zest for the game, and you know, I think we'll just have to play it by ear. I think from his point of view, he hopes they stay up, because his wages are double what they are. You know, it's another year on winning the pools money.
Is there a possibility he could be back next season?
That I don't know. I don't know. Financially, it's very difficult. We only took him for a few months, you know. But we have got the loan players off the wage bill, which will help us bring, you know, people in. So we'll have to wait and see about that.
Has you been linked with Neil Etheridge at Walsall?
Yeah, we spoke to him. We spoke to the club in January about Neil, but I wasn't prepared to pay the figure that they wanted then. So, you know, he's another one. I'll leave that to the goalkeeping coach. Andy Dibble looks at the goalkeepers and advises us what he would do, really, and I'll leave it to him.
Last couple for me. You've seen the stuff this week about Aaron Lennon. Do you think football looks after its own enough?
Well, it's difficult, you see, because with me being an old school manager, it was Stan Collingwood that really brought it out to me, because until then, managers, you thought, how can you be depressed on 100 grand a week or 60 grand a week, or until you actually look into it, I don't think anybody understands what an illness it is. It's like alcoholism, you know. You don't, till you look into it, you know, and realise what kind of drug it is, and the depression. You're not aware. You know, my eyes have been opened since I read about Stan's comments about his depression. That really opened my eyes, really, and I've never ever made light or a joke of it since. Because before then, you used to just, oh, you know, how can you be depressed on that sort of money? And it's nothing to do with money. It's the, you know, you do need help, psychological help at times, and you don't realise, you know, these lads might be on top money, but the private lives, you know, the situations that they find themselves in, they're not in the team, they can't get in the team. There's so many factors, living away from home, you know, you've got family problems as well, a lot of lads. So it's, I think the PFA really do have to step up now. I know there's a helpline, but I think possibly they have to go into clubs a little bit more now, and try and stem it before it blows up in the face. Because we don't want to see another casualty.
Well, no, and also from your point of view, a manager's job is becoming beyond just putting up 11 players on a Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that I'm aware of 95% of my players on and off the field about the situation, family-wise and everything, and I'd hope that if I saw a problem, I could actually snap it before it caused a major problem. But some of these things you just don't know. You know, you don't know, looking at a person, if you know whether they've got a problem or not.
And finally, for me, there's a very big game at Newport County tomorrow. One of your old clubs, Notts County. There, Newport, the win will guarantee survival. How important do you think it is for Welsh football that there are 3 clubs in the top divisions?
I think it's vital. I mean, I was Player of the Year at Hartlepool in '72, so I have my, you know, in their camp as well. So it's whoever gets relegated, I'm afraid I'll be disappointed. Newport because of the vicinity, and Hartlepool because it's one of my old clubs. So it's going to be a massive blow to one of them to lose the league status, because it's not, nowadays it's not straightforward to come back. You've really got to plan. You've only got to look at York City, who were relegated again this season. It's if you can't organise yourselves properly at any level of any club, then disaster's not far away.
You mentioned Neil Eldridge, goalkeeper. Lee Camp's another one you've been linked with, something good before, wasn't it? Is there any links in that?
Yeah, I mean, we must have spoke to 5 or 6 really. You've got to be looking around, haven't you, when you haven't got one? Yeah. And Murphy's been fantastic for us. I wouldn't hesitate to play Murphy at all, but you still need 3 keepers. So I'm looking to sign 2 keepers for definite in the summer period, and you know, I want people who want to play for us as well. So you know, I'll make my mind up, and but I can't see us doing anything until probably the end of the month, beginning of June, really.
Because of that meeting with Vincent.
Yeah, I want to finalise things with Vincent, really.
You're positive about that, though, aren't you?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, well, it's me that wanted it as well, you know, and because I think we have to talk face to face, you know, and I mean, I think Vincent's coming over for the Champions League, which is only a few days after we meet him. But when you come over here, he's got that many things on his plate. You know, it's very difficult to get 2 or 3 hours. So I'm hoping that by going over there, we can find the time which is needed, really, to discuss a lot of points, because it is a big, you know, it's a big club, this, really, and I think it needs that you know, the main person at the club, the owner, to be on board at where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do, really.
You're clear in your mind, I guess, about what you want to do, though.
Yeah, it's getting players over the line, really.
Yeah.
You know, at this time of year, certain players that you're after, you know, everybody seems to be after the same player, so it's talking to them. I'm talking to one at the moment, and you know, 2 clubs have come out of the woodwork. One a really, really good club, you know, but I'm hoping that my relationship, you know, will actually clinch it. The player wants to play for us, really, and wants to play for me. So I'm still optimistic about that, but you just don't know. You know, some clubs might just put another note on the end and blow you out of the water. You don't know in football.
The club awards last week seemed a good night. Everyone enjoyed. Did you give up your own little prize in the end?
No, I think my lads know. You know, I mean, there's some really good unsung heroes at the club, I think. You know, when I look at the likes of Connolly and Morrison and Peltier, you know, 3 excellent characters, really. I'd love to have them at the club. You know, probably never get a mention as such, you know. And then, like yesterday with Bamba, I don't know. You know, I think Bamba could play in the Premier League, me, as long as I was his manager. You know, because he's when he plays like he does, he's as good as anything in the league. So I think he's brought the best out of Morrison, and I think Morrison's brought the best out of Manga. You know, it's been a good situation, that, you know. And Joe Rolls is another one, never gets a mention, really. Always 7 out of 10, sometimes 8, but never 6. Aaron has won the awards, but I thought Joe was a really good foil for him in a lot of the games, which gave him the sort of freedom to do a little bit more than he probably would have done. And it was really, I felt really satisfied that the satisfaction when Aaron picked the awards up, because I think it's true to say when he talks to me, he wasn't really involved much before I came this season, and it shows how you can turn a season round, really, and I think he deserved them.
If you were to name then your award for moment of the season or game of the season, what would you choose?
I think it would possibly be Pilks's winner at Bristol City, if I'm honest. Only because we've gone behind twice in that game, and yet we never gave up, and we made 2 really good positive substitutions, and everything that we thought we could do with the substitutions worked, and to get a winning goal like that as well at the end was, you know, that was probably the best feeling since I've been here. But I did think Ken Zahore's goal was warranted the goal of the season. We've scored some good goals, really, this year, and you know, hopefully, I'm hoping he won't be picked, but I'm expecting him to be picked for the under 23s in the summer, just when he could do with a complete rest. But there's nothing we can do for that, really. It's a shame that it's not straight after the season, rather than they have to wait a few weeks and then go into training. And Aaron's the same. I've had a chat with Aaron, because I'm not happy about them being called up 3 weeks before, and our fitness guys been talking to their chap, you know, because they've been saying what they want to do, but we don't think that Aaron should be doing what they're talking about doing. 2.5, 3 weeks before their game, we think he should be resting. And so, you know, we're going to have to see if that needs a phone call to the manager from myself, because it's at this time of the season, Aaron's not going to get any fitter. He shouldn't be doing certain things what they suggest they're going to do. You know, so it's I think Aaron's on board with that. You know, when he came back last time from after playing in the Republic's waste of time friendly game, you know, he can't say no because he's the captain. But he came back and he was absolutely shit. It was a waste of time on the Saturday for us. You know, and that's where the manager's got to. He's apologised to me for that, but he's, you know, it's no good apologising and doing things again like that. So he's got to learn. You know, I know. You know, they've got a difficult job part time at times over there, but he's got to take on board what the expectations are from people at our level of football. You know, and it can't just be one way. It's got to be both ways.
So they want him in camp for 2 weeks leading up to that game, then pretty much. Or
They want more than that. They want him in camp 3 weeks, I think it is. But I don't think legally they can do that. But Aaron's not going to say no. But it's no good going in 3 weeks and doing 40-minute runs when you don't need to do. He needs to be having a swim and a game of golf. He doesn't need to be doing 40-minute runs 3 weeks before the game. By all means, 10 days before the game, they've got to do a little bit stepping up. But you know, they've got to understand. You know, it doesn't revolve around this one game, his season. You know, and they could do permanent damage to him if they're not careful.
Only one from me. You mentioned no one wants to play Fulham in the playoffs. Would they be your pick to go?
Yeah, they have been since they were 8th, 7th, 8th in the league, really. If they got our centre halves, I think they'd have gone up automatic, if I'm honest. Not that I want them to come and buy him, like.